Two Men in Stripes, brought to you by StripePipe.com, a fan site exclusive network. Really excited to be on the show. We're recording really late on a Thursday night because we don't know what this whole set schedule thing means, but hey, we're making it work for you for sure. Tim Daniel here, excited for an exciting show to talk about big things throughout the NFL this week. And who better to do it with other than my co-host, the co-editor of StripePipe.com, and the birthday boy himself, yesterday, Mr. Matthew Wilson. Happy belated birthday. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for the birthday wish. And now if only I didn't have to work so much, it would be so much better. Because my work doesn't believe in set schedules either, by the way.
Yeah, I took vacation for my birthday week, man. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Yeah, it's the end of the month. I get killed for that.
Yeah, well, mine is too. Mine's the 24th of July.
But yeah, so it's been an interesting week. At least the past couple days have been quite interesting in the NFL.
Yeah, man. So I guess we can start with the big news being the Andrew Luck contract. We knew that a big contract was coming, and we knew that people were saying he was going to be he was probably going to get the biggest contract in the league, and I'm shocked by that this is half and half. Like, I'm shocked that there's people that aren't happy about it, and I'm shocked that there's people, that don't think it's a good idea, and that blows my mind, honestly, only because people were looking at last season, how things went. I'm like, the dude was, hurt. He was playing with broken ribs when he was playing. Didn't play the second half of the year. His offensive line did nothing for him. His best wide receiver was T.Y. Hilton. Andre Johnson was nothing for that offense. Frank Gore really turned it on a little bit if you actually look at the numbers at the end of the year, but not exactly San Fran Frank Gore. So, yeah, I think last year's a wash for him. I think he's definitely a top 10 quarterback. I saw today somewhere on ESPN, they were like, he's not a top 5 quarterback, and I thought that was utter horse crap. So, yeah, I think that I'm okay with this deal. I'm happy for Andrew Luck. I'm happy that he's going to have a place to stay for a long time. And it's, it's definitely a shocker for sure.
My first question is, what college did Andrew Luck go to?
Stanford.
Isn't that your arch enemy?
No, that'd be USC.
Oh, okay.
Stanford's definitely a rivalry game, but it's like one of those rivalry games where it's like, yeah, you're cool, we're both smart schools, and we both do really cool things off the football field.
Just making sure, because you started to play favorites there. No, I think the contract's absurd, first off. Guy hasn't won a Super Bowl. He's won a playoff game. And I think it was a playoff game. No offense. I don't think he's earned this contract. Maybe he'll earn it while it's going on. But at least in history, he hasn't earned the contract. Guys like, and again, I hate saying it because I hate the Steelers, but Ben Roethlisberger's won 2 Super Bowls. Tom Brady's won plenty of playoff games, and he's won a few Super Bowls. Eli Manning's won a few Super Bowls. None of these guys are getting this contract. Jim needs to relook at this and go, what the frick did I just do? $87 million guaranteed for a guy who has won a playoff game? I'm not on board with that. I'm sorry. I think the contract's absurd. I don't think he's earned it yet. Now, granted, he's still got to play for it, but the Colts really haven't given themselves a way out of this contract if for some odd reason he declines because he doesn't get somebody behind him or he gets injured. They're tying their hands here. I'm sorry. I just don't like the contract.
I do that contract every day of the week.
As a player, I would too.
No, I would give Andrew Luck this deal any day of the week. I'm not lying about it. You're talking about a guy that, just before his last fell out. My dog's freaking kicking my wire on my headphones out.
There you go. By the way, technical difficulties are something that seem to be frequent on our show in some form or fashion.
Right. All right, so I'm back. All right, I'll pick it up.
You're good. I'm keeping rolling with this.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, when you air that, and they're like, why is he so angry all the time? Alright, so we're talking about a guy that his last fully healthy season almost had 5,000 yards. Threw for 40 touchdowns. Has been in the playoffs year in and year out. He's, has 12 career passing touchdowns. He is a guy that really, when he could stand up when his offense line was there, he has produced. And, I mean, he's made the players around him. Let's be honest here. Has T.Y. Hilton elevated Andrew Luck's career? Has Dwayne Allen elevated Andrew Luck's career? Has Dante Moncrief made Andrew Luck better? No. Andrew Luck has made them better. I mean, if Dante Moncrief is playing with Ryan Tannehill, is he having the decent numbers that he has with Andrew Luck? I highly doubt it. Andrew Luck is there's only one guy I think that throws the ball better than Andrew Luck, and that's Aaron Rodgers. I think that, I make this deal. I make sure that I have my quarterback locked up. And it goes back to the argument, it's not about having a quarterback, it's about not having one.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing in the NFL this day and age, because there are so little guys who are really good at their job that play quarterback in the NFL, that it's about time that we have, if you get one that can do it and go out there and play, you hold on to them, and that's exactly what the Colts are doing here.
No, I'm not going to argue the fact that, he's not a decent quarterback, because he is. I mean, the guy wouldn't have led the team to the playoffs if he wasn't a decent quarterback. What I don't like is I understand the guy really didn't have too much success last year because there was injuries, things like that. But for me, I think even with the injuries of the games he did play this year, he took a step back. He's got the fifth-year option, but I just don't. I guess to me, the guaranteed money is what's holding me up on this deal. Not so much the 140, because if he plays for the 140 and he plays, every single season and does a great job, then great. He's earned the money. But $87 million for me, for somebody who took a step back, even in the games he wasn't injured last year. I don't like the 58.1 completion. I think he's a better quarterback than that. And I think he's going to have to prove that.
How many times did he throw the ball with that team?
Oh, he's thrown 2,100 times. I understand that. But you definitely have to get a team around him, and if you're going to handcuff yourself to the salary cap based on that, you're not going to be able to put a team around the guy.
I will say that this year, when he has if he has a full team around him, they've built an offensive line. I think he needs a few more weapons, which granted might have a healthy Philip Dorsett this year. That could help a lot in the slot there. We know T.Y. Hilton's going to be his deep threat. Obviously, the loss of Colby Fleener is going to hurt a little bit, but having Dwayne Allen there, who's done good things for them, I think he's going to have a big year. And I think he's definitely going to show he's going to earn that money, and he's going to do big things.
I think he's going to be in a very tough division. I think the Jaguars should come on.
Yeah.
I think Houston, especially when you have J.J. Watt there, can do many things. I think you've got Marcus Mariota, and you now have weapons around him. I think that this division is going to rival the AFC North for one of the best divisions in the NFL. Now, I think it's going to do it in a different way. I think the offense is going to rule this division a lot more, where the AFC North, the defense is king. But I honestly think that Andrew Luck, if he is, he's going to have to be the quarterback from 2014 and then some in this division this year.
I think he will be. I still don't think that. I think of the four quarterbacks in the division, as much as I like the future of Marcus Mariota, I still think that he's better, being Luck.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not arguing that by any means.
Yeah. I love Blake Bortles, man. I am all on the Blake Bortles bandwagon, but I'm not ready to put him above Luck. I think of the four starters in that division, he's definitely the best of the four. I don't think he has as many weapons, so I see your point there. I like T.Y. Hilton as much as the next person. But Brock Osweiler is going out there throwing to DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, Braxton Miller, and Jalen Strong. Andrew Luck's going out there throwing to Dwayne Allen and T.Y. Hilton. Obviously, we know what the Jaguars have a wide receiver with Hearns and Robinson. They're filthy. And then, like you said, Marcus Mariota is starting to get players around him. Great, I think they're going to be more of a power team. I think they're going to run the ball a lot with Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think he's in a tough division there. I think the Jaguars' defense and what they're doing, not just the free agent in the draft, is just awesome. Especially if they do get a healthy Dante Fowler and a healthy Jalen Ramsey this year.
So the other news too, and we'll kind of move on from this because we've now beat that topic. Obviously, news coming out from suspensions for performance-enhancing drugs. Sheldon
Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel. We knew that one. But there was another player, and this one actually affects the Bengals on week 1. Jets defensive end Sheldon Rankin. Do I have his name right?
Sheldon Richardson.
Richardson. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm thinking Rankin. Sheldon Richardson is now suspended for week 1 of the NFL season. That's a huge blow to that defense.
Oh, it's a big one. I mean, you're going to talk about for the Bengals now. Running lanes are going to open up a little more for them in that game. So, Hill and Bernard are going to have a little more. You have to suspect they're going to have a little more success in that game, obviously. As far as like his pressure on the quarterback, he's done a lot of big things there. He's been a huge part of that Jets defense, especially been the leader on that D line with guys like Muhammad Wilkerson and guys like that. So, yeah, that's a huge loss for them, man. So that's definitely something we're disappointing in that circumstance. We previewed that Jets game a few weeks ago, and we said that as long as Ryan Fitzpatrick's not running the show, we expect the Bengals to win. Now I think that that's definitely, if you're in Vegas, that's definitely going to start to pull the spread up a little more in the favor of the Bengals. Going from maybe you're probably saying about 2-point favorites now. That's got to move them up to about 3 or 4, right? Maybe in a 5-point favorite at that point.
Yeah, I definitely think it moves in the Bengals' direction for sure. I don't know how much of a jump it's going to be. Obviously, it depends on how this team looks. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously Fitzpatrick's still not under contract. They still have a lot of things to address. So, at this point, things are still in the air for them, and there's a lot of distractions around the team, and Sheldon Richardson doesn't help the situation at all. So I think it does help the Bengals in terms of start to lean this game even more their way. But by how much is gonna be a question of who's starting week 1. When does this Fitzpatrick thing get figured out, and ultimately what's going on with this team?
Yeah, they feel like a little bit of a mess right now, don't they? I mean, I liked what they did as far as the offseason, as far as free agency signing and things like that. Getting guys like Matt Forte is huge, but yeah, it's a little worrisome, man. If you're a Jets fan, you're probably thinking like, what the hell's going on right now? Where's my quarterback? Do I get to trust another year of Geno Smith? And now this whole situation here, Antonio Cromartie obviously did not pan out like they were hoping he would.
Yeah.
In his return to New York. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man, for sure. See, the Jets are kind of in shambles for a second. It feels like, but they still have Brandon Marshall, so they're still in good hands. I love Brandon Marshall. If Brandon Marshall could play for the Bengals and we could have an AJ Green Brandon Marshall tandem, I would be ecstatic. I would be stoked. I would love everything about it.
Yeah, I like Brandon Marshall. I think he's a good player, but he's gotta have somebody who's accurate to throw to him. So that's really the big concern there. So obviously, and this is of course covering this short because we are going to keep it short this week because there's not too much news this week. But
yeah.
Buddy Ryan and of course Pat Summitt passing away,
right.
A huge loss for the sports world. Just as big of a loss, especially for Pat Summitt, as Muhammad Ali, because she set the standard for college sports and what it really should be. So big loss there. Both those, of course, Buddy Ryan. Granted, our generation, his biggest contribution was Rex and Rob giving us the entertainment there. Obviously, though, one of the top defensive coordinators the NFL has seen in its history, and so huge loss there for the sports world for sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, especially, you and I are a little younger, so.
Yep.
But we've definitely heard the legend of the '85 Bears. If you see that 30 for 30, and you watch just how those guys that played on the defense loved Buddy Ryan, the things they say about him, and how they looked at him as a father figure. It's totally disheartening, man. To see that circumstance there, just a huge loss there. And like you said, Pat Summitt. There's no one that's done more for women's basketball than Pat Summitt, and so it's just a shame to see her loss to dementia, her losing that battle there. Just an unbelievable person, not just for college, but for women's basketball, not just for college basketball, but for basketball in general, just everything she's done for the sport. So, best wishes to their family, to the Ryan and Summitt families as they mourn this tough loss, and definitely know the guys here at Men in Stripes have their best wishes in mind.
Absolutely. Another thing is that another life is safe because AJ Green has finally been called on the top 100 list voted by the players.
Yes, he has. He was number 16, which, hey, I'm happy he's in the top 20, but he should still be higher.
Yeah, underrated for sure, but again, we don't have to worry about you going to jail because you killed somebody.
Here's my argument I'm gonna make here, though. Let me just give me the floor for a second. Let me get on my soapbox for a second.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Okay, so we have talked about this before, and I mean we knew it was coming. So I'm probably just beating an old drum at this point. But where do people get this idea that Odell Beckham Jr. is better than AJ Green? Like, where does this come from? Honestly, like. What are they looking at when they say that? Like, does Odell Beckham play on a team that goes to the playoffs consistently? No! Is Odell Beckham, is he the only guy to throw to on their team and that's why his numbers look ridiculous? Yes! Does Odell Beckham ever make plays like AJ Green against the Baltimore Ravens when he catches a slant route from 15 yards, spins off a corner and goes 85 yards the rest of the way? No! Odell Beckham doesn't make those plays. I like Odell Beckham. I respect Odell Beckham's game. I think he's a great football player. I think he's a little bit of a head case. I don't respect how he plays in the field, i.e. the Josh Norman incident. I think that was a little bit of punk move on my honest opinion. But don't give me this crap that Odell Beckham Jr. is better than AJ Green. If AJ Green didn't have Tyler Eifert, and if AJ Green didn't have other wide receiver options, if he didn't have Giovanni Bernard in the backfield, his numbers would destroy Odell Beckham Jr.'s. Because Odell Beckham Jr.'s numbers look great. I will not deny that. And like I said, I like his game. I appreciate his game. I think he's a good one of the bright football wide receivers of the future in the league. But he is not better than AJ Green. If you look at those numbers, look at the second wide receiver every year in those stats compared to Beckham's. And then look at AJ Green's second wide receiver every year. It's unfreaking believable. It drives me nuts. The Giants are never, they might be in the running this year. They did make some good moves. But I just don't understand it. Like, is it because he's flashier? Because I'll agree, he's flashier. He wears like Joker cleats and Christmas cleats that have candy canes on him and stuff, and that's cool. That's fine. And he has a hair like a soccer player, and that's great. But stop this. Stop it now. I saw Nate Burleson didn't even have AJ Green's top 5 wide receivers. He had Brandon Marshall above, and I've even just talked about how much I love Brandon Marshall. But no, people, the difference that AJ Green has compared to all these guys that you put above him, the Dez Bryants, the Julio Jones, the Antonio Browns, well, Antonio's got another 12, is AJ Green is on a team that has a lot of weapons, and he's still racking up 1,300-yard seasons and double-digit touchdown seasons. And you guys still hate on my boy and don't give him the love he deserves because he plays for the Bengals, who have a lot more weapons than a guy like Antonio Brown who gets 130 catches when the Steelers throw 750 times a season. Okay, end rant.
My only follow-up to that is, AJ Green isn't as flashy. AJ Green doesn't get as many yards, but AJ Green makes more impact to this Bengals team than Odell Beckham does. Not to mention, too, do we forget about the Josh Norman situation where he basically targeted to try to rip his head off?
I mentioned it.
I know you mentioned it. I'm just saying, like, Vontaze Burfict's getting into the most hated players because he did the exact same thing to Antonio Brown. Is it because Antonio Brown's more likable than Josh Norman? I don't know. But either way, you're taking somebody who is childish in the NFL and you're putting him on a soapbox saying, listen, we're going to rank him higher because of this. Now, if he doesn't make this list, fine, I'm happy. But I don't know if he was even mentioned. Was he mentioned this?
Not yet, but he's going to make it.
But if he makes it, then we're really looking at the fact of, let's celebrate a player who basically is childish, doesn't have the maturity aspect of the game, and all he does is make flashy plays. Does flashy plays sell tickets? I guess so. But
yeah,
contributions and touchdowns and taking coverage off of guys because you're more of a focus, that's an MVP, not just some flashy player.
And if you think about it, if you watch that game against the Panthers, the whole reason he's getting mad is because Norman's beating him throughout that whole game.
Yeah.
Norman is in his head. There's one play in particular where he does beat Josh Norman, and he's got him by 5-6 yards, and he drops a perfect touchdown play by Eli, and it's unbelievable, man. I know AJ's had quarters that have taken him out of games before, Joe Hayden, and I know AJ's definitely dropped big ball in big situations before. I'm not denying that, but yeah, man, it's goes back to my point of, look at all the guys that AJ Green's played with, and and Andy Dalton's the guy that distributes the ball because he knows if he throws it to AJ Green 25 times a game, he's going to be covered for all those. He's not going to be able to make things happen. It's unfathomable.
By the way, ESPN's Dan Graziano put out an article saying, "How do you stop Odell Beckham? Sign Josh Norman."
Yeah.
I mean, that's the line right there. That tells you everything you need to know about Odell Beckham. Is you stop him by signing a great corner, and he can't keep up with great corners.
Yeah, who are the corners AJ struggled against? Joe Hayden, definitely. Joe Hayden and AJ Green, those battles are just fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Those two go at it. Even that Patriots game when the Bengals lost pretty bad, he still had a pretty big game against Revis. I think he was 5 for 85 and a touchdown.
Yeah, something like that.
Patrick Peterson, that was a good battle in the Arizona game this year.
But he still was effective.
Yeah, he was. Had a couple big plays. He was in the end zone. Yeah, man. I don't.
Well, was Sherman in the Seahawks game?
Yeah, and if you remember, he beat Sherman.
Yeah.
He had 85-yard touchdown, but they brought it back because of the Whitworth hold.
Yep.
So then they put Whitworth. They put Sherman, and they put Sherman ahead Earl Thomas' shadow the rest of the game. So AJ only had 3 or 4 catches the rest of the game. But yeah, that brings up that point of, you have that situation. So Tyler Eifert blew up that game. Marvin Jones made some plays that game. They were able to run the ball pretty decently that day too, if I remember.
Yeah, I mean their focus again. He has an MVP style of play that takes other defenders off of his teammates and leaves them wide open because he's that good.
Plus, he dropped 4 passes this year.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I'll play the little bit of devil's advocate here. He does have the fumble in the Monday night game against Houston.
Yeah. Which
killed him because they definitely converted that 4th down. But at the same time, give props to Kevin Johnson. That's a rookie making a play on the all-pro wide receiver.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways there. Speaking of which, what do you think about the Pro Bowl going back to AFC NFC?
I think it's more fun that way.
Yeah, it is, but I'm not gonna lie. I kind of enjoyed the draft. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it was fun to see guys play with guys that they normally wouldn't, but I don't know. I guess more traditionalist. I like the ALNL All-Star Game.
Yeah.
I like the East versus West Conference NHL. I liked the AFC or NFC All-Star. I mean, it's just it seems like it fits. It fits a little bit better in terms of how everything's run because you look at guys. Okay, which division's better? Is the AFC better? NFC better? Granted, those guys really aren't trying in that game.
Right.
So.
Except for Sean Taylor. God, you remember that?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And I think one show-off play by Odell Beckham, speaking of Odell Beckham.
Probably.
And I think that was, like, just randomly thrown up to him so he could catch it over his head.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, but don't like, I had fun with the fantasy drafting that they would do. That was a good time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I'm with you. Like, I don't want Vontaze Burfict hitting AJ Green. Like, I'm not down for that.
No. Not at all.
Yeah, for sure.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, we're going to move to our next topic here, do our previews for opponents.
So, before we get to our lovely picking up and putting down, Broncos week 3 of our way too early preview.
Yeah, a way too early preview. We're going to talk about the Denver Broncos here. Defending Super Bowl champions, but look way different from February to June, don't they?
Well, remember, defense wins championships, and Von Miller's going to single-handedly beat everybody.
Dude, he did in the Super Bowl, though. He was
He did.
unfreaking believable.
He did.
Yeah. Cam Newton's going to have nightmares about Von Miller. That's their Week 1 matchup, too.
Oh, that's going to make it so much better.
I know. So the story with the Broncos is very interesting this offseason. Obviously, out is Peyton Manning, retiring. Unbelievable career. Out is Brock Osweiler, Houston Texans signing. Still have your running backs in C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman. Do draft Devontae Booker, who I think will end up starting for that team, honestly. You still have a really good wide receiving core, obviously led by Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. As long as Demaryius Thomas isn't playing in the playoffs or against the Patriots, he's really good. So, there's that. You lose Vernon Davis, which he didn't do much for them anyway. You still have a pretty decent offensive line. Defensively, you lose a bit too. Obviously, losing Malik Jackson, you lose Danny Trevathan. They lost another linebacker, didn't they? Holy moly, God, they lost a lot. I can't remember off the top of my head. But in comes Mark Sanchez. In comes your first-round draft pick in Paxton Lynch that you moved up and made some moves for. Like I mentioned, Devontae Booker. And, I expect that the Broncos will have a drop-off, obviously, just from all the losses. There's the Von Miller holdout that's being held up right now that we don't know what's going to happen there. Obviously, if he does play, him and DeMarcus Ware are still going to do big things there. You got to really like their secondary guys like T.J. Ward, Aqib Talib, Chris Harris. They've just done nothing but make plays their whole career. And you got to think they're still a good football team. But I think the Chiefs might be better than them right now. I think that the Raiders are really on the up and up, and I think the Raiders have a shot to be a wild card team right now. I just don't know if I'm ready yet to say the Broncos are going to keep doing what they're doing. I don't think they're going to make a run to repeat, and I don't think they make the playoffs, honestly. I just think with everything Oakland's done to improve and how much better those younger guys they have are getting, and on top of that, Kansas City, had this, not too far away from winning that division, like literally 2 or 3 plays from winning the division. And they're going to be healthy next year, getting Jamal Charles back. Alex Smith continues to do good things there, and they made some good moves in the offseason as well. I don't know. Like, I expect the Bengals will struggle with the Broncos defense, but I think they're going to make it. They're just too good for the Broncos. They're going to make too many plays to not beat this team.
So, can I take a minute and irritate Steelers fans?
Sure.
So, I have a bold prediction, and that is one team is going to come out of the AFC West, and that team happens to be the Steelers killer, aka the Raiders. I think the Raiders are good enough to win. And Derek Carr has been ridiculous, and he's continued to improve, and they've got the talent. They've got wide receivers in Amari Cooper, who he is incredibly talented, has the ability to continue to improve himself and get there. So No offense to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs have a decent season, but again, when you have the AFC North and the AFC Central, or the AFC South,
Whoa, man,
South,
hey.
South. Let's fix that. Um, Being the two best divisions in the AFC, I honestly think that's going to be your two. That's going to be your two wild card divisions, or at least contesting for the two wild card divisions. So I can't bite that Denver's going to go downhill. I mean, I can't bite that they're going to put it in the best way possible and put by Bleacher Report's lovely thing of the Denver Broncos are going to defend their title to the best of their abilities. So their abilities aren't going to be good enough. No matter Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, their defense is great, but you've got to have offense. You got to be able to score points in order to win games, and this offense is not where I think it needs to be in order to win that division. And I honestly think it goes Oakland Raiders, Kansas City Chiefs, and then the Denver Broncos. That I don't think Denver wins the game. I don't think Denver. I honestly don't think Denver very well could have a sub 500 season, and not so much. I mean, we're talking 7-9, maybe 6-10. We're not talking about they're going to go 3-13, but I think they take a huge step back.
I think they do too. I just can't trust the team to win when your argument right now is Mark Sanchez or Paxton Lynch as your starting quarterback.
No, and Mark Sanchez really hasn't done too much in Paxton Lynch. Paxton Lynch. So,
I like Paxton, man. I think he's going to be a pretty good NFL quarterback.
I think
I just don't think he's ready to play now.
No. I mean, again, he's a rookie. I think he's coming into a very tough. He would come into a very tough situation. In the fact you have the defending Super Bowl champions, the expectations of that fan base is going to be incredibly high. I just don't see him living up to that.
Well,
year one.
Yeah, at that same point, I don't think it'd be too difficult, to be a rookie quarterback and say, hey, just make sure you have enough time to throw to Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas. Can you do that? Cool, thanks. Is that like playing point guard for LeBron James? Just throw it up, he'll get it.
Yeah, well, we saw what that meant last year, and they needed Kyrie Irving and they needed Kevin Love and both of those players to do it this year, and still did a great job and pulled it off in 7 games, but it wasn't just LeBron this year.
No, but it was a big part.
Oh, I'm definitely not saying that it wasn't, but he definitely needed the help.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So yeah, that's our touch there. So next week, we got the Patriots next week.
Uh-oh.
Let's see how long we can talk about the Patriots next week without using the word Deflategate. What's your over/under? I give us 20 seconds.
I give us right off the bat.
I think you can say Tom Brady's suspension without using Deflategate. By the way, did you see Bill Simmons' show Any Given Wednesday?
No.
Okay, so he's got this show on HBO now, and he's done 2 episodes now. In the first episode, he has Ben Affleck on. And watching those two Bostonians talk about Deflategate is the greatest thing ever. Just because, they're Boston guys, they're Patriot guys. They're so pissed off about it. I don't really have an opinion either way. At this point, I just don't care. Either let it play or don't. That's just where I'm at with it. I'll get to that next week, obviously. There's a little bit of preview for you guys. But yeah, man, it's awesome to watch them get pissed about it. You should definitely check it out.
Any Given Wednesday, all right.
Yeah. So I guess with that being said, we can go ahead to this week's Picking Up or Putting Down. You ready?
Well, of course, we have to reset, like always, which is... This is Men in Stripes, presented to you by Stripe Hype, a fan-sided network, also part of SI, Time Inc., all that fun stuff. So, yeah, let's of course get to it.
We do get music for picking up or putting down, that'd be awesome.
Well, the funny thing is if we did music, it would probably be the da 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 da, because that's just random and people would sit there and go, why? But it would catch their attention and make them talk about it. By the way, I wouldn't do that at all.
All right, so that being said, let's go through it. Starting with, okay, now that Andrew Luck has signed his contract, Russell Wilson, Cam Newton, Andy Dalton are all laced. Ryan Tannehill are all signed their big deals. Picking up or putting down, Derek Carr will be the next quarterback to sign a big contract in the NFL.
See, I want to put that down because I think Cam Newton's going to throw a fit and kick and scream that he's not the highest paid player in the NFL. Because he's just, I don't know, he comes off as a baby sometimes.
Well, he signed his contract too.
What's that?
He signed his contract too.
Well, I know he signed his contract, but there's a reason they make holdouts. I mean, look at Von Miller. Look at supposedly what before, the Steelers probably had a nice little chat with him. Antonio Brown was supposedly, crying about with his contract. I mean, it doesn't mean they won't hold out, but I'm going to pick it up just because, of course, Derek Carr is another great quarterback who I think, especially if he can bring this franchise back to the playoffs, this franchise is, the fans of the franchise, whether they move to Vegas or not, the fans of this franchise are going to be clamoring that he deserves all the money in the world for bringing them back into the playoffs. So I'm going to pick it up, and that's not without haste because I think we'll see more. We'll see some crying Jordan faces on Cam Newton because he's not the highest paid player in the NFL.
I'm going to pick it up just because, one, I think he certainly will earn it because you just see what he's becoming, and it's really special. But the only other really, young quarterbacks in line for big paydays at this point besides him are, Teddy Bridgewater, which I don't think the Vikings are duking that out yet. Not that they don't have him as their guy, because he's certainly their guy. Phillip Rivers already has a deal. Alex Smith already has a deal. Obviously, Dalton. I don't think Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins might be the only other guy I think that might give up for Carr.
The day the Washington Redskins pay a quarterback is the day that Joe Gibbs is their head coach again.
Well, they're already paying him $20 million on the franchise tag, so.
That is true. I didn't think of that. But do you really think they're going to go more than that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right. So, picking up or putting down. Where do we go from here? Ooh, Sheldon Richardson's out now. Does the Bengals run for a combined 100 yards week 1 against the Jets?
Easily. I'm going to say they're going to go 150 between the two of them. I think Sheldon Rankin is a huge run stopper. I think that opens up a gap no matter who's there. And I think that you're going to see the inside, whether it be Jake Fisher, whether it be or that you're going to see the inside. You're going to see the outside, whether it be Jake Fisher or Ugbuie or Andrew Whitworth. Absolutely dominate that outside, seal up the edge, and give them outside runs, and also maybe even open up a hole between the end and the tackle and give them some running room on the inside.
Fair enough, man. Yeah, I pick up. I still think the Jets have a pretty good team defensively, even without a game without Richardson. But I just, one, I think Jeremy Hill's going to be on a mission. I've talked about that quite a few times. I just think he's going to be ready to play. And two, we already know what Gio brings to the table. And, that combined yardage thing, too, we got to think. We have a pretty athletic quarterback who can scramble and make things happen with his legs. So, yeah, I'll pick it up. I think that's fair.
So I've got one in it, and I hate going political, but this has been a topic, of course, in the NFL. The NFL will view Brexit as kind of its way to maybe explore other options in other countries with the NFL.
No. I don't want a team in London. I don't want a team in Mexico City. Well, actually, I wouldn't really care about that. I don't really. I mean, I would like a team in Toronto. I think that'd be cool, where the Bills play occasionally.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that as much. I mean, it's kind of like having the Blue Jays and the Raptors at that point, isn't it? But like, yeah, man, like, why do we have to put a team in London? Like, that's stupid. That's so stupid.
Well, they've also talked about games being in Tokyo.
I'm down for like a preseason game in Tokyo. That's cool, But no, like, no. One, think about your season ticket holders. Like, this is what pisses me off about London so much. Is this year I lose a game because they want to go to London. Like, don't be wrong, that's cool for the players to get to go over there and have a good time. Do that in the off season. Play in Paul Brown like you're supposed to. Don't take games away from us. And it's bullshit. Sorry, I know we're trying to work on that, but like, it drives me nuts. Like, it's so stupid. It's just I'm all for getting up at 9 a.m. and watching football. That's cool, but like, give me a justifiable reason. Then, Wembley Stadium needs the NFL. No, they do not need the NFL. They don't.
So we're taking it. You're putting it down. No, I think NFL will use it as an excuse to explore other areas of the country or of the world in terms of playing an NFL game. Do I think it's right? No. Do I think it's right that they're in London? No. As you said, it's cool to get up at 9 a.m. and be able to watch football, but it's unfair to fans, especially in the United States. They don't sell these stadiums out. You look at these games that are being played across, the world, and the stadiums are barely half full. I mean, you want to watch, Manchester United play Chelsea? The stadiums are packed over there.
Crazy packed.
But they're not packed for the Bills versus the Bengals, or they're not packed for the Dolphins versus, I forget who they played.
Probably the Jaguars.
Yeah.
It's in the Jaguars every year.
I mean, that's not going to pack their stadium. Yes, it creates more of a world brand for the NFL, but you know what? If you want to create a world brand for the NFL, then fine. Let's do an NFL Europe. Let's do an NFL India. If you want to play a game, all of a sudden, the world champs of the United, or of the, North America, if you decide to expand it into Canada and Mexico, play a, U.S. or North America versus Europe. I mean, that's the way you expand your brand. Taking games over there that half the people don't have a vested interest in because they could care less because the team isn't theirs, you're not going to win anybody that way. So I'm putting that. I'm picking it up that the NFL will probably look at that as a way for them to expand their global brand. I'm putting it down in the fact that I think it is a joke that the NFL is doing it. So I don't have a fun one this week.
Yeah, the thing is, like, with that, I'm going to keep with this conversation. Like, so, people kind of bring up the point of, like, well, what about when, like, Barcelona in Real Madrid, no, it's Real Madrid, not Barcelona, I'm sorry. They're coming over to, and they're going to play in Columbus, actually. They're going to play a soccer game in July.
Yep.
Like, America has totally adopted soccer. Like,
except the MLS sucks, but...
Right, MLS does suck. But, yeah, like, we get up in the morning on Sundays to watch the Champions League, and, we do things like that. Like, London has not adopted the NFL. Like, they go to the game, and, like, you see, like, jerseys in the stands. It's, like, 85 different players. Like, I think the last time I watched the game, I saw a Peter Warwick Seahawks jersey. Yes, Seahawks jersey in the stands. And, like, you see, like, people have, like, these, like, it's weird, like, just random-ass jerseys. Like, there's, like, remember when the Chargers were, like, never wore them, but there was that jersey of the Tomlinson jersey where the stomach was, like, the regular blue, like, his rookie year, but the sleeves were the powder blues and things like, stuff like that. And you're like, what? Why? Like, they go there because it's something interesting, and that's cool. And I would be curious, too, if I lived out there, but no, they have not adopted our game. Like, so, stop it. Just, if you're going to send, like, your Bufu teams over there, go for it. Like, if you're just, who's terrible? If you're gonna send, like, the Rams and, like, who's really bad that I could use?
San Francisco.
Yeah, if you're gonna send them over there, go for it. Like, but if you're trying to make it a big market, quit sending the Jaguars. No one cares about the Jaguars.
Except Blake Bortles.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And Hurns.
I'll stop that, because I feel like this show has just been, like, Tim has ranted a lot.
By the way, next week on the show, we're going to have more of Tim Says. God,
I know. I know. I don't know what it is this week. Maybe I'm just on fire this week, man.
Oh, you said you had a... Can we announce it yet?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Some big news is coming, by the way, at some point in time.
Yeah, there is. I'm stoked. So, I think the fun picking up or putting down, what can we do here? Well, last week we did the one about animals, because that looked funny. We've talked Ghostbusters. We've talked Captain America.
We have.
Okay. I think this one's fairly easy.
Okay.
Picking up or putting down, Kevin Durant leaves the Oklahoma City Thunder.
You know, I think ultimately, unfortunately, he will. I don't think it's the right move for him. I think Oklahoma City Thunder is a good team for him. It fits him well. I think the team is incredibly close to, at least an NBA Finals team, if not an NBA championship team, as they've been for many years. And I think he's a vital part to that team. However, I mean, we had somebody on Sports Nation decide, well, he's being unfair to the Lakers by not giving them an interview, but he gave the Clippers one. Really?
Lakers suck.
I'm sorry, but that's a joke. I think the Clippers could draw him away. I think that I think the Clippers need a player like him. Would it push them over the edge? Probably not, but I think it would be flashy enough for them to continue to gain attention, continue to get to the playoffs. You might even see Dallas make a play for him, although, again, it's still kind of a reach, but Dallas needs somebody. And again, another team that, maybe one or two players away from at least a playoff run to the conference finals.
I think he's going to stay, but I wish he wouldn't.
Okay.
Not because I dislike Kevin Durant at all. I love Kevin Durant and I love Russell Westbrook, but I just watched this documentary the other day about the whole move from Seattle for the Sonics, and obviously it's under Bush League that the Sonics aren't around anymore.
Yes.
But have you ever heard the guidelines now? So the guy that owns the Thunder that bought the Sonics and moved them bought the rights to the Sonics name too. So
yeah,
he owns if an NBA team tries to go back to Seattle, it's up to him to decide if they're gonna be called the Sonics or not.
Oh, we have the same thing with the Charlotte Hornets when they moved them to New Orleans.
Well, yes, but they got that back.
Well, that was because the owner gave it to them.
Right, they didn't rip their soul out like Sonics fans got their souls ripped out.
True.
And here's the other weird thing: say they put an NBA team in Seattle, and they're like, okay, I'll let you guys be called the Sonics. They can make the call if they were green and yellow or not.
Yeah.
How's that? That's weird. That's crap to me. I feel like you shouldn't hold that hostage because that's an unbelievably historic NBA franchise that has a championship, that's developed amazingly star players over the years, the Paytons, the Kemps, the Ray Allens. The guy that runs the Thunder, I already forgot his name. I do not like him, and the fact that he's now in charge of the NBA's relocation committee pisses me off even more.
I do not like him, Sam. I do not like Green Eggs and Ham.
I do like Green Eggs and Ham, you must know. Dr. Seuss Day was my favorite in elementary school.
Dr. Seuss Day rocks, but Read Across America rocks too, so...
It does.
Stay in school, read books. Anyway, but yeah, by the way, there needs to be an NHL team in Seattle, by the way, too. That's still a ways away from my understanding. But they're putting one in Las Vegas. But we won't go there because supposedly Las Vegas and Ice go together. Anyway.
Yeah, Gary Bettman's a douche.
So, with that being said, follow us on Twitter, Men in Stripes SH.
Yeah.
Follow us or subscribe on YouTube, Men in Stripes. I am trying to do preview. So I'm sorry for the fact that you have to see my face during the preview. Maybe if you just pop up another screen, listen to the audio, you're good. Totally random. Totally random. But We will be doing previews, hopefully now before every show, on what we're going to touch on. So you'll be able to take a look at that. Also, find us on Facebook. It's Stripe Hype. Find our articles on stripehype.com. Our guys do a great job. What am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something.
We didn't really preview any articles this week.
We didn't preview any articles this week. There have been a few good ones, but then again, we've also touched on why Marvin Lewis should stay or go. We've touched on it's not Andy Dalton's fault. We've touched on a lot of stuff that's been kind of repeat from years past. So
I'm getting ready to start the wide receivers for the fantasy preview. Hopefully I'll have that done by training camp. That's going to be long.
Yeah, there's a few there for sure. But,
yeah.
Did you do Jeremy Hill?
I did do Jeremy Hill. Yeah, I did Hill before I did Bernard.
Okay. Shows you how much I was actually paying attention for once.
I was like, do I want to go really deep and do Burkhead and Pyramid? I was like, nah.
Burkhead you technically could do with wide receivers too.
Yeah, you could. That's true.
So, there's still a